That's kind of what you wanted to do, especially in the dark. But maybe my southern accent will allow you to stay awake so that you can try to figure out what I'm trying to say. My name is Nikki Magnall. I am with Optum Health. I live in Colorado because I knew you all wouldn't believe that. I'm not originally from Colorado. I'm previously from Tennessee, so I wanted to let you know where the twang's coming from. So, but welcome, and as Kenny indicated, please, any questions along the way. Lynn is here from United Healthcare as well, so we're tag teaming this with questions you might have. This is an education session that we want to provide information. There won't be a test, so don't worry about that, but it is to give some insight to the plans and let you make the best, guess kind of what it is that you're looking for your individual and your family's needs. This is your decision. No one's telling you what to do. We just want to present the options to you so that you can see what those are. And I think Western's done a great job of rolling this out and presenting you with those options, because Lynn and I see a lot across the board. A lot of employer groups don't do that, so hats off to them for that. All right, so overview of your health savings account. Okay, so why choose a HSA? So what I would like to present first is, you've probably heard a lot in the marketplace and on the news, and especially with all the talk about healthcare is, how does this work? What does this look like? You have a high deductible health plan, and alongside the high deductible health plan, you can offer a health savings account. And only with the high deductible health plan can you offer a health savings account. We can't put that alongside of the PPO plan. That's why when Ken mentioned the current PPO plan as it exists has a flexible spending account attached to it that you can use to save dollars on a pre-tax basis. So think about that with the high deductible health plan. That's what you're getting the benefit of with the health savings account. The one feature we'll talk about that's the biggest difference is with the FSA, it's use it or lose it within the current plan year. Whereas the health savings account, it's yours. No matter who puts the money into it, it is yours to take with you no matter where you go. So we'll talk and expand upon that as we go. But first of all, who may choose an HSA? Typically, it's individuals that don't have a whole lot of healthcare expenditures, maybe a young individual, and what the high deductible health plan does, it allows the employer to offer the higher deductible plan at a lower premium. So that individual may be sitting there, or you may be sitting there in your seat saying, I've been paying all these premiums all these years, and I never even used the plan. I need an option for me. This could be an option for you. You get that lower premium rate, and you put a little more skin in the game, if you will, or have a little more risk because of that higher deductible. So it does require having that high deductible health plan. You use the health savings account to pay for qualified health expenses. It is funded by you on a pre-tax basis via payroll contributions, or you can also add in or make payments into the health savings account after tax as well. You can do that. Any one of your family members can put money into that on your behalf. And that's one benefit that you have going into this open enrollment for 2018, is that what Western is doing for you on your behalf. You're getting, as an individual, $700 seed money, if you will, and $1,400 if you have family coverage. And we'll talk about and elaborate on that in just a few moments. Account funds, as I said, belongs to you. It is your account. It is a financial bank account, and these are your dollars. the employer dollars that you receive are yours as well. And if you were to ever leave Western, you could take that account with you. Okay? And then it grows over time. That's the intent, that you take that lower premium, those dollars that you're not paying out of your paycheck, and you invest that and put that into your health savings account, so that will eventually grow. So when you do have a medical expense, you will have that money already set aside. So the investments, we'll talk a little bit more about the investments. All the monies are insured with the FDIC up to $250,000, but of course, just like with your 401k, any investments are not guaranteed. So what do you need to know about an HSA? You're in charge of managing it. This is a first step in being an educated healthcare consumer. Taking ownership of your health and also taking ownership of what doctors you go to. Looking at your premium designated providers. Looking at where you can get the best deal for you and your money for you and your family members. Annual contribution limits are set by the IRS. We'll go over those in just a few moments. So that's not United Healthcare, that's not Optum Bank, it's not Western, it's the IRS. And then deposits can be made anytime during the year on a pre-tax or after-tax basis. All deposits are made up to that annual IRS limit and are tax-free. Withdrawals are made for qualified medical expenses and are not subject to income tax. But I'll tell you in just a few moments about if you do use that account for other than medical expenses, I'll tell you more about that.
Who decides what's qualified medical expense?
To the government. And that list is on IRS Gov and also Optum Bank as well. So it would be any of your health expenditures that you use today. It could be vision, dental, any medical procedures, all the way from lab, office visit to surgeries. It's no different than it is today. The IRS dictates that as well with flexible spending account items, what are qualified items. Great question though. So, HSA eligibility. So you're able to open and contribute to a health savings account if you are enrolled in a high deductible health plan. So for example, come January 1st, I elect the high deductible health plan, I can open up the health savings account January 1st for medical expenses moving forward. I can't do anything in retro. You are not covered by any other health plan that is not a high deductible health plan. So if your spouse is on or you're thinking about combining plans or options, they cannot be covered or you cannot be covered under their plan as well, like by an HMO or another PPO plan like it's offered today. You are not enrolled in Medicare, a TRICARE or TRICARE for life. You're not claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return, and then you're not covered by the healthcare flexible spending account. The government looks at that as double dipping. So you either have the PPO election and stay on the flexible spending account, that can maintain and stay as is for next year, or if you choose the high deductible health plan, the health savings account takes that flexible spending account's place. So you use it for the same similar services that you used it for this year, if you participate. And then if you've, as long as you've not received any VA benefits within the past 3 months, except for preventive care. Contribution limits. So this is the amount that the IRS has dictated is what you can deposit into your health savings account on a yearly basis. So I put 2017 up here, but what you'll primarily look at is 2018 limits. For an individual, it'll be $3,450, and then for the family, it'll be $6,900. So that's the maximum you can put into the health savings account for 2018, unless you are age 55 or older and not yet enrolled in Medicare. You can add an additional $1,000 as a catch-up contribution. Yes, ma'am.
Are those limits for the whole year?
Yeah.
On a pre-tax basis, can you contribute more on an after-tax basis?
It's all the same. Doesn't, they don't look at it any differently if it's pre-tax via the payroll contribution, or if it's just a lump sum contribution that you write with a check. It's the same amount no matter what. The only variation is that you get that $1,000 catch-up if you're 55 or older and not yet enrolled in Medicare. That's where it gets a little trickier. Any questions on that? It's a lot of information, so I'm just wanting you to be able to absorb it just so that you're educated, whether you take this plan or not. Okay? All right, so how can you make the most of your coverage? This is something I like to elaborate on because we all like to think that we are educated consumers, but I know, and Lynn knows as well, when we were rolled out the high deductible health plan with United Healthcare and Optum, that was our only option. So we had to catch on really fast. And there has been a lot of progress been made with providers and facilities and how this works. But it also gives you as the individual consumer a voice. You know, someone made a comment to me, and it's stuck with me because it's very true. Do we not negotiate with everything else we do in life? We buy a car, we negotiate. We, negotiate with our spouses. We negotiate with our kids. We negotiate with every person in our lives in every aspect except our providers. So I think that should enable you to have a voice to say, okay, well, we're going to put you on this medicine. Okay, well, why? Why that one? What else could I take? Is there a generic alternative? I mean, just being that educated consumer, because with the high deductible health plan, and you know this with the PPO that you have today, you have to meet that deductible. And I work hard for my money, and I know you guys do too, so you want to make sure that you're spending it where appropriate. So this gives you the information in myuhc.com. There are all kinds of healthcare cost estimators to see where you can go to get that scan at a different rate versus another facility. Maybe it's a provider, a prescription drug. You can look at all the tools and resources out there that provide you the information that you can make a good, educated decision. So really, it's just understanding that and being able to know when you can have a conversation and understand why they're taking the route that they are. Because you will be paying for that deductible out of pocket. All preventative care, and I just want to make sure I always say this, all preventative care, no matter what plan you're on, is covered at 100%. So I hope that you're partaking in that, not only for yourself, but your spouse and your children. So make sure that you're going and get that yearly exam, and wherever the preventive guidelines, we were talking earlier about a wonderful, fun colonoscopy. When you're at that age where that is, on the preventive guidelines, then that's appropriate and that's covered at 100%. So just make sure you're taking advantage of that flu shot. Make sure you're arming yourself and your family members with as much free stuff as you possibly can with your medical coverage. So HSA qualified medical expenses. That would be medical plan deductibles, co-insurance, everything that you pay for today. If you have dental and vision expenses, you can use the health savings account for that as well. And then you can use it for your spouse's independence that's on your plan. Now, I told you earlier that as long as it's a qualified healthcare expense, you can use your health savings account. But what if I want to buy a TV? Or what if I really want to buy that boat? Can I? Because my husband will be the first to ask and see if we can. And the answer is you sure can, but you're going to be taxed as that is income, and then you're also going to pay a penalty of 20%. So choose as you may, that is something you can do with that money. It's your money, but make sure you're aware of the penalties that you would pay to do that. So it's not advised that you would do that, but you can. So how can I contribute? How do I make the deposits. So you can do that on a pre-tax basis via payroll contribution. You can write a check with after-tax dollars, and then also you can mail it in, or someone can make a deposit. It just can't be higher than that maximum annual contribution. Now, someone was saying in the earlier meeting, well, what's the catch? How can I, maximize my money, and what can I do? One thing we talked about is that Western is going to be depositing based on your coverage you select, whether individual or family, is you will get $700 if you're an individual, single coverage. You'll get $1,400 if you're family. That's going to be divided up into 2 payments, one in January and one in July. So what is fortunate for you is you're going to be able to have that seed money in your HSA account come January 1st. Normally, most employers do not do that, and you as an employee would have to come up with all that money at first. So then we were talking about the payroll contribution. Said, well, I just want to write a check. And I'm like, well, you can change your payroll contributions at any time. You could say, put my entire check in there at the beginning of the year and see how much you can, maximize of the annual contribution, and then change it back after that first paycheck. So you can change your payroll contributions throughout the year. So Ken, did you want to say anything else about the contributions or that the employees are going to be getting?
Yeah, so on January 1st, you'll get half of what they call seed money. So if you elect employee-only coverage, that's $700, you'll get $350 deposited into the account on January 1st. July 1st is the other 50%. So the one thing to think about too is, I think a lot of times people with an HSA account, they're worried that something bad happens to them, health-wise. So if all of a sudden January 3rd you have a serious health issue, or say, you break your leg, okay? Well, yes, you have some out of pocket, but immediately on January 1st, if you have family coverage, there's $700 sitting there right for you, okay? Also, you want to think about the annual deductible. Janet, right now, the annual deductible for individual under the PPO plan is?
Well, it's $1,250, it'll change to $1,300.
It'll change to $1,300. Under the HSA, it's $2,000, but again, you're getting seed money from the bishops for that. So you want to think about that.
So it might be an opportunity to evaluate that, your expenditures to see what might be a good fit.
And the one thing too is on the Western web, under policies and procedures, and then under risk management, and then under HSA, health savings account, there are 5 menu choices. One of them, of the choice says HSA examples, and it lists out 4 different examples that could happen to an individual, and it shows what would happen under a PPO plan and what would happen under the HSA. And there's also there's an option on there called frequently asked questions. So a lot of these questions I've heard this morning and today, those questions are answered on there. So I would encourage everybody to go to that link, look through all the options. One of the options takes you to the Optum Health website, which, Darlene, like you were saying, what are the expenses that are covered? That's one of the options on there.
Okay.
So when this meeting is over, hey, there's still more information out there. So.
Okay, could you go back a couple of slides? There. You said that you cannot be enrolled in Medicare and do this. But here it says Medicare premiums and out-of-pocket expenses. They're qualified. That doesn't make any sense.
So that's after you have the account established and you have moved into Medicare eligibility and you're enrolled in that, then you can use what money you have in there to use for premiums and Medicare expenses. And
Okay.
pay the deductibles that are some of the differences.
For the money that's left in there, but you can't add any more money.
Correct.
Okay.
Great question.
It's a little tricky.
It's really tricky
Just a
around,
little confused.
yeah, with the Medicare eligibility and what you can and cannot use it for, yes. I would agree with you on that. You can also make deposits until April 15th for the prior tax year. So if you want to do that to get that deduction in there and that savings as well. So again, the tools and resources that Ken was talking to on Carol's website, we also have goodmyuhc.com, It's integrated with Optum Bank, and you can also go directly to Optum Bank's website, and that provides you the tools and resources. You can look at the HSA calculator, you can see what your expenditures are, you can estimate what it would look like from last year, and then what your expenditures would look like and where you would fare. You can look at the contribution tracker, and that shows you what you're contributing and how much you would need to contribute to get up to the annual maximum. There's also a receipt vault that you can continuously keep up with your receipts and find them and know where they're at, because with a high deductible health plan and health savings account, if you're ever audited by the IRS, they will ask for receipts, just as you are asked for on the flexible spending account. So we have what's known as a receipt vault, that you can take a picture of the receipt, send it, and then file it away into that receipt vault, so that you can keep up with all of that information, and you don't have a huge, like, physical paper trail, but you have a paper trail. So you can also manage all your billings and all your EOBs. You can look to see what it is you owe for the service that you have done, whether you want to pay that out of pocket or pay that with your health savings account. One thing we were talking about in the earlier session is, just because you have money in a health savings account doesn't mean you have to use it for medical expenditures. You can choose to pay for it out of pocket and keep that money in that health savings account growing, and be able to have that build year over year. So I thought of that. So we have all the tools and resources there available for you. Oh, reimburse yourself. If for some reason, maybe you, had an expenditure, or you didn't have your card, or whatever the situation might be, if you want to reimburse yourself, you can reimburse yourself with the card. It has ATM capabilities, and pay yourself back for an expense that you paid out of pocket, as long as it's with the effective date of the plan starting January 1, 2018. You can't reimburse yourself back for anything that was prior to you being enrolled on a high deductible health plan. Okay.
So Nikki, the card does not prevent me from using it for any reason. I mean, a non-medical reason. I want to go over and buy Halloween candy, I can do that. But if I get audited, that's where the problem. Okay.
Yes, and I have to take my husband's card away from him, because he is the one that always is, oh, yeah, I think I accidentally used that medical card you gave me. I'm like, yeah, give it to me. You're not going to have it anymore, because no. So just be careful with that. You have to write on it. So what to expect as a new account holder if you were to choose the high deductible health plan and open the health savings account. You would get a welcome kit, and you would also get separately your card that we're talking about, that's right here in the lower corner. It's a MasterCard. It will come from a Salt Lake City, Utah address, and it has nothing written on the outside, so a lot of people throw it away. They mistake it for junk mail and throw it away, but that is your card. And it will come separate from the welcome kit. So just make sure, if you are choosing that option, that will come separately. And you can then log on, add your email, and you can get prompts to different types of newsletters, information. You can always go out to the bank site directly or through myuhc.com and access your account. You can see transactions. It's just like a normal financial account that you have, and you can track everything that goes through it. And you can also invest. Once you get to $2,000, you can invest into various mutual funds that are available, and that is also on the Optum Bank side as well. So,
Nikki, is that $2,000, is that an IRS requirement?
no.
No. Okay.
So here's some common questions, and as Ken indicated, that there are that, there's that other page that has all the frequently asked questions. There's more than this, but some that come to top of mind is, can I open a health savings account at any time of the year? Yes, as long as you are enrolled in a high deductible health plan. So, can I take the funds in my HSA with me if I leave the company? Yes, you can take yours and your employer contributions into that account with you. That is yours to keep, and it will follow you as you take it with you. One question that we've had is, well, if something happens to me, what happens to the money that's in there? You will have a beneficiary selection requirement, and then that would follow as you make those decisions and choices. Am I required to contribute a specific amount each year? No. You can contribute as little or as much as you want, as long as it you only go up to that maximum annual contribution, and then that $1,000 for that 55.
And you still get the seed money if you don't contribute. So that's not, the seed money's not dependent on you contributing.
So when you can look at, the year, look at the paychecks and divide it up. Most people we see put in at least the deductible amount, so they at least have that covered for if you're single or, family, depending on the coverage level you have. And do I need to use all the funds of my HSA during the year? No, that's actually one of the benefits of having the account is, unlike the FSA, the use it or lose it aspect of it and regulations, this one does not have a use it or lose it. You can take it with you, use it, let it build up, and that's in theory how this was to work. The lower premium, you take that savings, put it in the health savings account for future healthcare expenses. Yes?
And you said $2,000 you can put in mutual funds?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a cost associated with managing that mutual fund?
There is not, I'm trying to think, because no, there's not with that. It would be with the individual fund based on that, and the prospectus, all that information is out on Optum Bank. I was trying to visualize to see where that's at, but it's out there and it'll tell you what those fees would be.
What about any potential profit that you make from your mutual fund? Is that tax-free as well?
No, it would be taxable, yeah.
So if you put in $3,000 and so the first $2,000 you can't invest.
Right, you can
So the
invest
$1,000 you
$1,000.
invest
Correct.
makes 10%, okay?
Mhm.
That $100, that is taxable if you, okay, that's okay.
Yes, and I can double check that.
I think you may have addressed this in the beginning, but I don't remember. Can you still have a flex spending account with a health savings fund?
No,
It's one or the other.
it's one or the other, yes. Yes, ma'am.
If you do the high deductible plan and then you know something's coming up, could you switch back to the PPO in the next enrollment?
Not, at the next enrollment, the next open enrollment, you can, yes.
Not mid-year though.
Not mid-year unless there's a qualifying bid.
Or unless there's a life-changing thing, right? Like a
Qualifying bid, yeah, yes, yeah.
Well, you can't switch plans, you can add people, take
Right,
people off, and
right.
it's changing that you have to wait till the minimum line.
Right,
And then your HSA would stay there.
correct, yes.
I wanted to confirm that, so if you opt into this, you're paying out of pocket technically for all services up to the deductible, but do we still get our,
Co-insurance.
we still get it at the discounted rate, so doctor will get, or prescriptions also is at the insurance discounted rate?
Yes, so, so deductible, that works, in theory, the plan works the same because you already have a deductible and co-insurance. But the PPO plan, you have co-pays for the pharmacy. Now with the high deductible health plan, you still have deductible, it's just a little higher. You still have the co-insurance, but then the prescriptions, you'll pay for the full cost of the prescription. But all of it is, as long as you're going to an in-network doctor or participating pharmacy, it will be at the discounted rate.
And that's usually on your receipt at the pharmacy, it'll tell you what the bill charge would be without the tiers, so, or you can ask your pharmacist,
Okay.
because that's a really important point, that changes.
Yeah, you can see like what you would have paid or what your plan paid especially if you're on a copay plan.
All right.
Yes. And you can also go into myUC.com if you want to do a tally. You're like, I have no idea how much I spent. You can go and download into Excel, and it will, you can download all your prescriptions, all your office visits, whatever that may be.
Is there anything on myUHC.com that would tell us, like medications, what their costs are for our
Yes.
insurance plan?
Mhm.
Okay.
On your existing plan today, you can look up the copay, or and then it'll tell you.
Comparison, or
Yeah.
it does.
comparison places, like Sam's Club
Yeah.
versus Walgreens versus, or mail order, mail order sometimes.
Because that's where you become that educated consumer. You start shopping around to see where is it that I can get my, most cost savings, especially with pharmacy and prescriptions.
So this is still a United Healthcare plan,
Correct.
and I'm assuming that the same doctors that we're already using, since they accept United Healthcare.
Yes.
Correct.
The network does not change, it's just
Got
a difference in medical benefits and how it
It's
works.
just the account, the health savings account will be administered by Optum Bank.
So on prescriptions, there's no copay until your deductible is met,
Correct.
and same with office visits, but
There's no copay at all.
no copay, it's whatever the office, but there's no consistency across the board, so you don't have an office visits copay, right?
It does vary, it depends. If you go to the same provider, you can look to see, I'm trying to think on myUHC.com if it'll show that cost of the service even with the copay.
Like a slider.
Yeah,
And don't you pay a percentage of the full visit after the deductibles are met, or isn't it 20%?
yes, so first and foremost, you'll pay the office visit minus the network discount. That's what you'll pay up to your deductible. Once you've met that deductible, then your coinsurance kicks in. So then you will only pay the percentage based on your coinsurance after that. So it'll look and feel like a copay, but it's still considered coinsurance.
And it's the same with the prescriptions then too.
No, the prescriptions will then become a copay after you've met your deductible.
Okay, that's the only thing that is going.
Okay.
So you say the full prescription price. So then it would be like what it is around, $70, the high tier. Okay.
But everything else stays with co-insurance once you,
Got it.
ER visits, any kind of thing we pay copay now would only be, it would be co-insurance after.
So that's the point of like using the healthcare cost estimator. You can go out there if you know for plan type services. We all know we get sick and things like that. But if there's plan services or plan medications that you take, you can go out and look on myUHC.com and get an estimate of what that cost will be. Now, one thing that we brought up earlier, and we're talking about place of service and where I should go for care. That's one thing that I learned very quickly with the high deductible health plan is that where should I go to seek coverage? So number one, if I'm sick or my kids are sick, I know I don't want to go to the emergency room. Two, I know I don't usually can get into an urgent care because it's always after hours that that I need it. So you can look at convenience clinics if you have them in your area. Some don't, but one component would be a virtual visit. And we were talking about that earlier. It's a newer type of visit. I done it with my son. He had strep throat. I didn't want to get out, didn't want to get him out. So we downloaded one of the apps. It's Amwell or Doc on Demand. Called it up, FaceTimed them. They looked at my son, asked me his temperature. We went through a series of questions. They called in a prescription. My husband got the prescription. We didn't have to get home, and then he was back in school in 2 days. So that is an option as well, and that usually runs anywhere from $40, $45, depending. I don't know if it varies by the different docs on the apps, but mine was about $45. So you can see how you start changing your way of thinking of trying to look and negotiate for the best price that you can get. And that we'd encourage you to do anytime. That's available even on the PPO plan. All these tools and resources are available to you today. There's no difference with that. Just making you aware of some of those that are, that can help with this.
We were saying, I think before to Jane, we can look to see, like, if I see a particular doctor, what that would cost out of pocket.
Yeah.
I had an HSA plan before I was here,
Yes.
and I just remember that, and I go to the doctor all the time, so it's not a great plan for me, because
Right.
almost every time I go to the doctor, unless it was my yearly exam, it was like $230 out of pocket, just to like get a prescription refill. So is that like I guess you can't say how much that would cost, but that would be on the website and show like just what the regular doctor is.
Yes. Yes. They, you can, and especially with their premium designated, or you all have premium designated here. But for the different levels of positions, whether it be primary care or specialist, you will see that.
Exactly.
And you can see, like with an arthroscopic knee surgery or back surgery, you can put that in there and you can see what that would cost too. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, somebody earlier was saying, I'm thinking about having hip surgery, what plan, you can look at that and kind of compare to see what's going to be the best option for you in 2018. But yeah, in theory, it would work the same, just what you're going to have, front dollar, first dollar expenditures that you're going to have to come out of pocket for. But what is nice is that with the seed money, there'll at least be something in there day one. Most employees don't have that luxury of having that in their day one.
Sean, you have a question?
I do.
Yes.
So is it my understanding that the flexible spending account can be used for like my wife, even though she's not on our plan, I can use that flexible spending money?
As long as she's not in, yes, a hypothetical health plan or attached to a health savings account.
Okay, so that was my question. If she has a flexible spending account and I elect to go to the HSA, I can't use that flexible spending money for any visits that I do?
No.
Prescriptions as well?
No. Because you're using the HSA, the health savings account, to do the same thing. Those are both pre-tax dollars, both pre-tax accounts that you use and that have always been set aside to use for out-of-pocket expenditures. The difference is normally that the FSA is whatever you elect for the year, it's available January 1st.
Right.
Say you're getting braces and that money's available day one. With the health savings account, it's not. It's only available what you have in there. But because the seed money's going in there, you'll have some money in there January 1st. It wouldn't cover the entire braces, but say you use half of what you have in there for, or all of what you have in there for braces January 1 and you pay out of pocket the rest, then once you have that money in there, you can reimburse yourself. But
So if currently my wife has already enrolled in a flexible spending account with her employer, and because Western now offers this plan, I think it will benefit a family, can she, if she already has an FSA deductible, can she cancel that, or we have to wait for her employer open enrollment next year? Do you
she
know?
would need to ask her employer.
Okay.
I don't know what they're.
I mean, we've made FSA changes as qualifying events
Yes.
before, like, so they might, it just depends.
Okay, I didn't know.
I
if
would
it
just
was-
have her ask if she can,
I didn't know if it was a standard or if it's company specific.
well, I mean, it's usually a yearly
Gotcha.
contribution that's made, but it's whether or not that her employer will let her, like, you made,
Did she elect it for 1/1 or did their year start differently?
1/1 for
Oh.
18.
oh, then maybe
Might
that,
be able to.
she can change it then, yeah, if she's not
But
into
it's
that.
not started yet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Did I understand you saying that all preventative maintenance there's no out-of-pocket?
Correct. That's today. That exists today on your plan
It's the
today.
same in the HSA?
Correct.
Okay.
On that high deductible health plan. And we encourage everyone to go, no matter who you are, or what you are, everything, just go get your preventive exams, get your flu shots, get everything that you can.
In network.
In network, yes, sorry.
In network.
Yeah, sorry.
And one thing, we talked about this in the earlier meeting, but is sometimes if you go for like your well check with your doctor and you mention something else, like the provider has every right to turn that into a well, like a,
Yeah.
not a well visit, but a diagnostic visit, and they can bill you for that and then you would.
So don't talk to that.
Yeah, so don't
Make another appointment for that.
Yeah,
Just
I know, that's what I always say, I'm like, I really had this, I wanted to ask her. I want to ask her, no, don't wait till next time.
Yeah, so they may or may not, I mean, that's their discretion to turn it from a preventative.
And you can ask them that, or, you know, if I ask you a question, or, you know, want to ask you about something else, or you're gonna make that diagnostic, you know, someone, it's what they just put on their sheet that they bill for. Yeah.
Because you can code it separately, we can do the preventive
Yeah.
stuff, but just know that if it gets farther, or God forbid they find something, then
Right.
that becomes diagnostic.
So that's going on. Any other questions?
Yeah. Dental and vision is still the same, though, or how does that? Oh, video.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll be in the open enrollment package.
Okay.
I just had a few things I wanted to mention. That example, Carol, that you brought up, so right now, if you go to the doctor, okay, and you've got your copay, if January 2nd you go to the doctor, okay, it's not gonna be $30, it's probably gonna be more than that. Because you've got to meet that deductible first, so keep that in mind, okay? Number two, on the fund choices, like Nikki said, once you get to $2,000, after you're above that amount, you can invest in mutual funds. On the Western Web or on Optum Health website, it has those fund choices. A lot of them are similar to the ones we have right now in our 401k with Vanguard. Okay, so something to keep in mind. But if you elect this year, if you have family coverage, and you elect not to put any money into the HSA, how much is the seed money? How much? $1,400. So question, can you then elect fund choices this year, in 2018? No, because you're under the 2,000. So, right. Next thing, the seed money is not a requirement by the bishops. So next year this time, they could say, we're not going to do that anymore on the seed money. We'll probably still offer the HSA, but just something to keep in mind. That's not a given every year. Okay, so in-network and out-of-network, what we've talked about today is mainly in-network. We have good in-network utilization. The rules are different without out-of-network. When I say different, I mean the dollar amounts involved. So make sure that it's everybody's best interest to make sure that if you're going to a doctor, that doctor is in-network. It saves you money, saves the company money, and all that. Somebody asked me, said, what's the catch? Okay? Why are we doing this? Why are the bishops putting in $1,400 or $700 seed money? Anybody know? The goodness of their heart, or? Bingo. The premiums, when we got our renewal offer from United Healthcare for the PPO plan, and we asked them for an offer on the HSA, okay, on the high deductible plan, the premiums are less under the high deductible plan. So our healthcare costs, as we all know, have been really going up quite a bit. We're trying to flatten that curve. By offering the HSA plan, you know, I've had people come to me and go, I'm paying these PPO premiums, I never go to the doctor, and so hey, so here's a choice. If you're healthy and you feel like, because what I would encourage you is, on your next paycheck, look what you're paying for medical coverage. Then when you get the open enrollment information, look at what the HSA payroll deductions are. They're less in every category, and they're significantly less. So that's right out of the gate, that's the way that you can save money if you go to the HSA plan. But the catch, it really can be a win-win if you don't go to if you end up living a healthy lifestyle, you know, apartment select too, but all of a sudden you've got this money in there, the bishops are saving money, and it's a win-win for both, so something to consider. Also, they mentioned about, on the MyUHC myuhc.com, as they mentioned, you can download your health, every doctor visit you've been to, and you can look at it, you can go back quite a while. And it's really nice. I've done that. I've downloaded it into Excel. You can sort of look how much you're paying for prescriptions and how much. So it gives you an idea. I was a little surprised about, boy, I didn't realize I had this much on prescriptions or whatever. So, and like I had knee surgery earlier this year. It was really brought up under an HSA. Maybe I want a doctor's shop. Maybe I want to consider like, okay, because I was looking at the gamut on how much knee surgeries from different doctors. It really will surprise you. Under a PPO plan, we really don't think about it as much because we simply pay our copay. But under an HSA, it sort of maybe helps us be a smarter consumer. I think that's it, other than I would encourage everybody again to go on the Western Web website and look at all that information, especially the frequently asked questions. A bunch of these questions we've had today are on there, plus more that maybe you haven't thought about. Anything else? Patty?
The seed money is the amount that you can contribute each year, is that included in that?
I'm glad you brought that
Or is
up.
that additional?
Anybody remember the family seed money amount? 1,400. Anybody remember the IRS total amount for families? 6,900.
6,900, yeah.
So 6,900 minus the 1,400 is how much you can put in.
Okay, so that seed money is
It
included
is
in our.
included. Right. But the 6,900, so if you're over the age of 55, what makes it confusing? On the 401k plan, for the catch-up, it's over the age of 50. Okay? On the HSA, it's over the age of 55. So if you're 55 in 2018 or older, you can actually be $7,900 minus the $1,400 seed money.
And so one thing, we keep saying employee and family, but if you have any other coverage
Yes.
besides employee only, you get the 1,400. So you have employee spouse, employee with children, then you do get the 1,400.
Yeah, the 700 only applies to employee only.
That 1,400 or 700, that'll be taxed next year as income, correct? The seed money, does that go? Is
No,
that
because
pre-tax?
No, because it's, no.
That's pre-tax then?
Well, it's just not, I mean, it's not pre-tax, so it's not coming out of your paycheck.
Yeah.
It's Western's dollars,
Yeah.
but you won't pay
it's
tax
money,
on it.
right.
As long as you're using it for a qualified medical expense, you won't pay
It'd be like
tax.
the company match on the 401k. You don't get taxed on that, so, good question. Good question. Anything else?
Ken, did I hear you correctly just now? You said hypothetically, for my check, let's say it's $85 from there. Next year, it's going to be less than $85?
If you elect the same coverage and you elect an HSA, the payroll deduction rate is less on an HSA.
And the rates are actually already out there on the website.
They're out there. Yeah, you'll be pleasantly surprised. I mean, when you look at that, you go, boy, oh, you don't agree to
I mean, they're definitely lower yet.
They're definitely lower, right? Maybe not pleasantly, but maybe surprised. But you will pay a less amount for an HSA. Is that what you're asking? Okay. So I think where Janet's going with it is that saving that I'm saving between the PPO and HSA, is that worth taking the risk to have a higher, out of pocket? Okay. So that's only something you can decide.
So growth on what you were asking about the investments is not taxed, only in New Hampshire and Tennessee.
Hey,
Only-
repeat
That's a
what,
state
so Sean was
guideline.
asking, so say you put $5,000 in,
Go on.
you put $5,000 in, okay, it grows 10%. Is that $500 that you earned on that, is that taxable? And you're saying only in 2 states, and this is not one of them.
Correct.
So therefore, if I had medical expenses, tax reasons, it's better for me to pay. For tax reasons, it's better for me to pay out of my pocket rather than HSA for investment reasons.
Sure. If I understand you correctly, what you're saying is, hey, why not leave that money in there?
Yeah.
Yes.
And just go ahead and pay for it after, there's some logic.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the
Because there
ability.
is, the more, it's like, I think the annual yield, it's like 0.05% up to like 19.99, and then it, changes what you have in there. They got, has in there, I don't have that one memorized, but it's out on the site as well. You can see what that savings yield would be for just leaving the money in there. So outside of your investment. So yeah, that's the intent.
Well, the other thing too is if you're electing family coverage and you put the $6,400 in, that's pre-tax, so it's lowering your taxable income.
Yeah.
So,
And for Western's purposes, we can either spread that across 24 pay periods, or can we elect to do it as fast as possible?
I mean, that's probably a payroll, I mean, that's not easy. That makes Darlene's job very hard.
Darlene, you want to do that?
That's all right.
yeah, you can do it, but be careful
Yeah.
because it's sort of like, okay, say you put too much in that first paycheck,
Yeah.
and then you come over and you go, I got $50 to live on until the next paycheck. So What do you mean? You just wanna, but you can't.
Hey,
To me,
Sean,
there's
you
no
I'm not giving your money back.
There's no automatic way to do that. So that would literally be like Darlene
Yeah,
having to
that's
manually
not-
go in and turn it off, or
I was
Camille
thinking
go
more
in
like
and change it.
around March 15th, when, rather than before my wife spends our bonus, I was trying to.
Well, apparently you can write a check and just send it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Well, that's after tax.
you could write a check after tax and send it in, yeah. But,
Okay, to answer Sean's question, it is possible, however, our payroll department
of one.
is not necessarily going to offer that because it is a lot of individual management.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, it's just, it's a lot of onus on her as opposed to.
All right, any other questions?
Wrong question.
Did it help?
Yes.
It is confusing, there's a lot of stuff. Again, please go to the website, look through stuff. We're probably going to have a teleconference or call-in, whatever. Usually when we do this, we get the crickets, okay? But hopefully, if you have any questions, or shoot them our way. If it's something that really, we may add it to the frequently asked questions and put it back on the website, okay? All right, thank you all, appreciate it. Folks with Carol?
On this website, when they post the medical rates, and I discussed this with you, did they get it updated for the weekly?
Yes, I did.
Yes, thank you. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you.
I know, what do you think is like
Yeah, went to work.
That's the most. Oh, I thought I could put in, I thought I could about 40 more, but could families put in? No.
The IRS for the FSA is the same for everything. Regardless of what tier.
Because I want to do that laser surgery, and I thought it was,
It's $2,600. So you can do one eye.
and it's like $5 grand.
So you can at least get half of that.
And then you can have
Like,
don't know.
I already got a schedule for Tuesday, but I can finish paying it off.
yeah, because if you're doing a payment,
Yeah, they can do a
finance.
payment plan.
They'll do free
Right.
financing.
Right. I can't do this anyway because I'm covered under my husband's insurance.
So you have two plans.
And and they require me to take whatever my work offers for me to be.
So that yours are
Still
still primary
covered.
and secondary.
So I gotta do whatever, I wanna do whatever's the cheapest, so I would do it, but, I just not. Actually, I don't know if this is what's spending. I should ask, cause then I could do his and mine.
I still don't, because if you're covered under.
It's on the first floor.
Oh, you can't.
Or it's a low.
Were you trying to find it?
Oh, I'm sorry. So if you, it'll be.
You literally, you have double coverage under our plan.
Yeah, but because, it doesn't cost, he's on family, so it doesn't cost any more to have me on it. And it has help.
Maybe they don't have it, because like we have 4 tiers, we have employee plus children, like spouse. So maybe they just have, some people have like employee plus one.
Well, I think we're using the word technically.
I think he has employee plus spouse and then family, and then that's it. And we have 2 kids. So if we did 2 kids, then it should be, and it has help with it, right?
Sign something that has.
Yeah.
To get 14.
You know, like with the HMO days, they coordinate well.
Well, that's
Like
right, that's all.
Tuesdays, they don't really coordinate.
No, I forget, I did something and it wasn't gonna, I would've had a bill and then the other one picked it up. Yeah. Sorry that has nothing to do with anyone else except for me.
Think about you.
I think you should get what you get.
60,000 gross, we got 80,000. Then you can use that money for any long-term healthcare premiums, you can use it for, I had one person, I can make get out of it. So,
Just so I'm. And I said, I saw a little.
That's fine.
after
I'm just
65,
worried that I'm gonna
you can
start
take
getting
it out.
bills that are. I know, and that's the balance, I mean, that does.
you guys can use no tax. Except for the gas tax. That's all. I would do it as part of the before we did it, about limiting the rate of change, but now, they're limited to 24.
Yeah, the only thing we take is over the counter.
Now, that was,
It's
they were talking, but it was actually,
Roll or whatever it's called.
it's one of those things where, you know, they could, next year, they could say, hey, this is. But it does depend on your individual. $1,400 is not invested.
Right. Next year, like Monica said, I know I have to get 5 surgeries. I'm going back to I still have that $1,400 that belongs to me, but I can't use that. Right? And then the following year, I can go back and just say, I think that's kind of weird. That's what, I think that's a
So you're saying the year you're on an the year you're in a PPO plan with FSA, you can't use the money you have in HSA? I think you can.
But you still, that's
Yeah, that's yours. As long as it's for medical insurance, that's yours. You know what surprised me, when you go online and look at, for example, because I use a healthy person, young, unhealthy, in every situation, the HSA, because of tax reasons, investment, all that.
which guy was that? I really want to. Not last
What?
Dude, I stopped taking it. It's not working. Whatever it is, it's not working.
Yeah, they can encourage my they can submit it. You know, Jan, that's right.
In any event, that's on the happy side.
Would you ask? Okay. I appreciate that.
When I really lost my HSA, nobody's on my place. Yes, I did. Otherwise, your surgery. So we had your surgery last week. We had eye surgery. December or something. It's like, yeah, I want to go to HSA.
Right. Oh, yeah, but again, I get surgery still. Correct, the whole year. But again, I would be reimbursed.
I thought it was $73. And after that, it was 20%. So we're on a period, 7,300.
7,300.
After that, you don't have to pay anything.
Right, so say for example, your deductible, okay, is that 4,000? So say you've got let's just do the individual, 2,000. I think it's 2,000. So say the individual, 2,000. You pay your 2,000 first. Then anything after that, you're paying 20% on that up to the 5,000.
So in your case, if you had 2 surgeries, you're paying $4,000 first, and then you're only paying 20% all the way to.
Right. I can't use it. I wouldn't be able to withdraw out anything until
Yeah, see money until that would be out. Cash flow wise, I'd be out for a while.
If I understand correctly, I'm new to this too, that if I go to the doctor on January 1st and I forget to bring my HSA card, no. Well, let's say that I pay them with my debit card, okay, they won't pay me. I can immediately go to an ATM, use my HSA card. Oh, I will, yeah, I use my HSA card and withdraw that at like an ATM. As long as I keep the receipt in case the IRS, you know, say someone just for argument's sake, they withdrew the whole amount, you know, one reimbursement, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute here. So that's where I think that'd be a red flag, the IRS we're gonna audit. Which way, can I ask which way you think
I don't know.
it helps you. It helps you for tax reasons. It helps you for investments. Okay, you and I think you're, okay, you've got 10 years to put money away. Okay, so part of it is knowing what your medical costs are.
Right.
Yeah, so the first one's gonna be more.
I didn't already.
Oh, no.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Flipping again, but it was it's like, why do I work with a different mindset for 1 year for my health?
There is something, and the other thing, you are gonna get $1,400 right there, if you enroll in HSA. Okay, so that's money you're giving up if you don't get I know what you're saying. I mean, if you're close to retirement. I can see your point. Or if you're in bad health and you're in emergency, yeah, it may not, you may be trading dollars, but like, to be the show.
Oh, yeah.
You got 30 years to put money away and stuff like that. Lower your taxable income and all that kind of stuff. You know, one reason about 3 or 4 years ago, before we looked at this, what our rates are.
We got it.
We have a rate.
Elbow.
Right, and we use that for money. Most of them come on our place.
Relatively rare.
So that's, I think the broker have told us that they were deciding to 5%. Because it's kind of a little shock that you get it right back. You know, like, whoa, I don't know. If you're cash, you live these check paychecks. It's gonna be hard to spend. If you've got some money put aside, okay, then.
Now. You're gonna.
Right.
Because like for the up and coming, I mean, you know, like this is awesome for these younger people. And it's also, you know, for the new hires that we've got, it's another draw.
Well, that's exactly right.